Welcome to Setting the Record Straight. So today I want to talk about something that happened last week in Canada, October 1st. Our Prime Minister reintroduced a bill, and that bill is to ban conversion therapy in Canada. I want you to listen for a moment to what he says about conversion therapy.
Finally, I want to end today by recognizing some important news out of the House of Commons. Earlier this morning, our government introduced a bill to end conversion therapy in Canada. It's past time to put a stop to this unacceptable, discredited practice that has hurt far too many LGBTQ2 Canadians. Conversion therapy is harmful, degrading, and has no place in Canada. I hope all parties step up, come together, and support this bill.
So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau describes conversion therapy as unacceptable, disgusting, discredited, and harmful. So is that true? You know, when you listen to someone speak, what you hear them say in the first place sounds very credible. But when you hear facts from another perspective, it changes the whole dynamic. And I want to share with you just a short bit of information about so-called conversion therapy. I prefer not to call it that. That's a misnomer to start with. But because there is no such practice, really, there's no such model, conversion therapy. But nevertheless, that's the word that's used. So what I want to say to you is it really harmful? And the other thing is it immutable? Is gayness immutable? Because those are two assumptions that this legislation is based on. So here's what I want to say to you. There have been 100 years of research into this phenomenon, and there's been many, many studies that have proven just opposite to what our Prime Minister is saying. I wanted to share some of the stats from one study, just one study. So here's what this researcher says. His name is Carton. And he said that there were statistically significant decreases in homosexual feelings for the population that he studied. And what does that mean? Well, 100% of those individuals reported increases in self-esteem. 99% reported increases in social functioning. They also reported great decreases in depression, 92% actually, and about 60% of decrease in suicidal ideation and attempts. That's phenomenal. You're not hearing about those facts, and we need to hear those facts along with what's in the media. So what about immutability? That word means that unchangeable. So is homosexuality actually unchangeable? Well, it's not scientifically accurate to say that. And here's why. Over the last many years, there's been a lot of research into sexual fluidity. Now, whether you agree with that or not, the research actually supports sexual fluidity. And let me share this with you. In a national longitudinal study of over 20,000 youth, what they found was that all attraction categories except heterosexuality were associated with less likelihood of stability. That means they were very flexible. Not so with heterosexuality, but all of the other designations like bisexual, polyamory, homosexual, lesbian. So Dr. Lisa Diamond, herself a lesbian researcher and very well esteemed in the American Psychological Association, has said this, that the LGBTQ activists need to stop promoting the born that way myth. Now, does she support the ban on conversion therapy? Absolutely. So that's kind of a dichotomy to me. How can you say, yes, sexuality is extremely fluid, but not allow individuals who have unwanted same-sex attraction to see a therapist? That's a conundrum to me. Let me share something else that's stated in the media, how harmful conversion therapy is, and you only hear one side. If you listen, you only hear one side. And so what you need to understand, and it's important to understand this, is that any type of psychological treatment can be unsuccessful. It can produce unwanted outcomes, perceived harm, in complete failure sometimes. It doesn't matter if it's marital therapy or a sex therapy or addictions therapy or whatever kind of therapy, even depression. You know, what happens when someone leaves a therapy and they are dissatisfied with the results of depression? Often they just spiral downward, and even at times many have attempted or completed suicide. Does that make the therapy ineffective? Not necessarily. And I would say that what is noted in science is that conversion therapy, the outcomes mirror other therapeutic techniques for other issues. That means that it's no higher to see perceived harm or complete failure in any kind of therapy for unwanted same-sex attraction than it is for any other type of issue. So remember these things when you hear our Prime Minister and the media talking about conversion therapy banning in Canada. Thanks for listening.